Hey, family. This is Wellness and Freedom Podcast, episode 2, and I'm your host, Panashe Mashokozera. I am so excited to be back today. Last week was episode 1, such an amazing time, and we're here for episode 2. And if you're on YouTube, this is your first time to get a video, so yay, exciting! Welcome to the month of love. Welcome to February, where everybody is talking about love. They're talking about marriage, courtship, dating, all of these amazing things. I was listening to something by Pastor Delapola Wow on TikTok, and it was just like a clip where he was talking about how sometimes we push away the things we are praying for by our hate. If you are not going to be celebrating Valentine's without somebody, or you're going through a heartbreak, it's quite easy to hate on those that are excited about it, getting the gifts and all of that. It's quite easy to hate on the thing that you desire, and it pulls it away from you, then it pulls it closer to you. So that's just like a hack that I learned, that it's important to just be joyful about this season and learn a lot about marriage. I know that a lot of churches are going to be teaching in the place of marriage, they're going to be teaching in the place of love, and it's important that you are the partaker of all of that information that is going to be taught throughout this February, because I believe that it's very necessary. But anyway, we are going to start a series for this month called Redefining. So what are we doing? We are redefining love, courtship, and dating, waiting. What does it really mean to wait? And we are also going to be redefining marriage, because I feel like because of how our world is structured in the area of love, it's quite easy to be influenced by the world and what the world believes. But I believe that the more that we redefine it and allow ourselves to heal, that's how we grow. And when we grow from that place of love, we can be able to impact our world, because that's something that I am so passionate about, that we are going to grow as people, we're going to heal, and we're going to understand what love really means, because I believe that everything about life is centered on love. And one of the things that I believe as well as we start the podcast for today, love is something that is first modeled to you before you even understand what it really means. So what I mean about this is the first people that will teach each and every person about love are their parents or their caregivers, right? After your birth, you are surrounded by family, you're surrounded by your parents, and the way that they teach things, the way they talk, how they function, how they solve conflict, how they show up for each other in the household, all of those things, they begin to teach you or to model to you what love looks like, right? You don't just begin to be someone who knows about it. I believe that it's first modeled. Sometimes the things about emotional availability and how to be a present person in other people's lives, all of those things are really modeled from childhood. So I was doing a research when I was doing my master's on a dissertation, and I was talking to someone who I was interviewing, and she talked about how their household was structured from childhood to be a household of love. So she talked about how her parents are people that show up for other people. They are always present in every single detail about her life. It does not matter even if it's something little. It does not matter even if it's something that seems significant. They want to be involved. They want to support. They want to show up. They want to love. And in that way, she says that how she has understood love now as a grown woman is being able to show up for her friends, even for the little things that maybe the friend would be like, nah, it's not a big deal. They want to be there because to them, that's how love was modeled, right? So if it's modeled in a healthy way, it's quite easy for you to grow up with as somebody who wants to model that same love in a healthy way to other people. So the way that you show up to other people in love is the way that you knew how other people showed up for you in your childhood, how your parents, siblings, everybody in the household, be it your caregivers, right? All of that is how you understood love. So our understanding of love is really rooted in our childhood, in what we experience as children. This got me to think about something so important in understanding that, when most of the times when we talk about you need to heal from your childhood, you need to heal from your trauma, most of the times we are talking about times where love was modeled in a toxic way and you didn't even know it. And then later on, it becomes trauma when you kind of like try to understand the flow of your life, that's when you'll be like, oh, okay, this is kind of a traumatic experience. Because one of the things that trauma does is trauma redefines something. So, well, God is saying that love is patient, love is kind, love is, love does not boast and all of those things. But trauma redefines what love looks like. So I was talking to my cousin sister recently, and she was talking about somebody she was in a relationship with, but she began to see the patterns of someone who was avoidant. And when she tried to probe into the childhood of that person, that's when she found out that in their family, it's quite normal for people to just pull away. Okay. One day they're in the mood to talk, the next day they're not. Right. And then it's quite easy for that person to not see anything wrong with it because to them, that was how love was modeled. I still love you. I'm just not in your business right now, but I still love you. And she wanted him to be always, in her business, and they'll be talking and they'll be engaging. I believe that it's very important how we understand love from childhood because most of people's experiences about love are rooted in trauma. I just wanted to just highlight a few examples of where love has been defined by trauma. So you might be someone who will identify with that, or you might be someone who might say, well, I don't identify with that. I was talking to my best friend recently, and I say that I no longer want to attract people that I have to perform for love. So what this really means is that when you grow up in a household where when you're successful or when you pass the examinations or when you become a prefect or when you win something, that is when you receive affection. That's when people are like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, this is amazing. All of that. So it trains you as a child that you need to perform for you to be loved. It trains you that you need to do something in order for you to receive affection. And so your understanding of love is I have to give in order to be loved, right? You begin to be attracted to people that don't necessarily desire you or want to choose you. So you attract people that you have to chase in order for them to love you. I understand the chase that men have to do in order for them to get a woman in pursuing, but the chase I mean is the kind of chase where you know that this person is unavailable for you or they don't really like you like that, but you want to keep doing things for them until they receive you. You keep doing things for them until they love you. You keep doing things for them until you receive that affection. It becomes a cycle where you desire the people that are unavailable for you. And that is the issue of performance for love. A lot of people have that mentality that if I do something, I'll be loved. And I feel like this kind of applies to something that I always hear people do on TikTok. So there's a video where people say, whenever I remember the things that I did for love, and people are like scratching their heads, like, oh my God, why did I have to do that? It's so cringy. Or why did I have to show up for someone in so many ways like that? And they were not showing up for me. There are some times where you obviously have to show up for your partner and do all of these nice things for them to show that you love them. But there's a time where it becomes rooted in trauma that you did all of those things unbeknown to you. It was a way of performance. Unbeknown to you, it was you performing so that if you do all of these things, then love will be given to you in return. And it's important that you take the time to really discover how you have understood love from childhood, because if you do not understand that, you will keep doing the same thing that you don't even want. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where they are not being chosen completely. So deep down, you want that idea that you are chosen. But at the same time, you are that person who still believes that I just need to keep doing. If I keep doing, they will love me. And that is a broken mentality in the area of understanding love. The second one is when love is rooted in anxiety. So it's rooted in uncertainty. It's similar to the cousin that I was talking about, that she was in a relationship with someone who was avoidant, right? So someone will understand love when it's uncertain, when they don't understand, are we in this? Is this a good thing? Are we getting along? Are we not getting along? They would have grown up in a household where one day the mother is excited, the mother is affectionate, and then the next day they don't know the vision of their mother they are going to see, or they don't know the vision of their parent or caregiver that they are going to meet in the next day. And that makes love uncertain. In that place, it trains you that love is an anxious style. So you begin to attract people that make that uncertainty natural. You are more comfortable with the uncertainty of the love. Then the third thing is love as a tolerance of abuse. So if you grew up in a household where people would shout, people would insult each other, people would say things that they don't mean. And then after that, it's now a cold atmosphere in the household. This can make somebody to understand love from a place of abuse. So when someone insults them or is abusive to them, they're like, oh, at least they do all of these other things for me, so they love me. Right? That's how they've understood love. They've understood it from a place of it's abusive, but it's okay because maybe they buy me flowers. Maybe they get me this thing. Maybe they show up for me in this way. You just make an excuse for that person because that's how you were trained in the area of love. So you begin to be someone who knows how to make excuses for people that are abusive, people that are emotionally abusive, people that are physically abusive. You probably make excuses for them because sometimes it was something that was ingrained from childhood that you would see people shout at each other, insult each other. You would see people maybe physically abuse each other, and you felt that that was normal. That's what it's supposed to be, right? And so even in adulthood, you begin to be attracted, or you attract the kind of people that make abuse natural, that make abuse normal. Yet this is not a true definition of love. This is a definition of love that is rooted in trauma. If there is an area that resonates with you, I want you to know that it's not your fault. And it's not even the fault of the other people. You're just someone who learned and adapted to surviving. You need to know that there's freedom for you to heal and for you to get better and begin to see love in a healthy way. It's going to be a journey of allowing yourself to be honest and transparent about the traits you have picked up from childhood and how they can be healed. Because, like I have already shared, trauma creates familiarity. If there is no healing by the grace and the power available in Christ, and by renewing the understanding of love to that person, you will continuously have the same cycle in love and relationships. You will keep having the same cycle, even in love friendships, right? A friendship is not supposed to be something that you have to act out certain performances that you are not in order for you to be loved. There was a time, even when I was still in uni, I would try to align myself with people that I have to create a version of me that would fit in with them. Because I believe that if I can create this version of myself, I perform like this, then these kind of people would see me and they'll become my friends. But what you don't understand is that that is brokenness from the heart. When I began to learn about my own trauma, it really began to help me to understand that there is healing required in order for me to have relationships that are fruitful, natural, and filled with the peace of God. So it's a journey of healing, but it's a journey that is possible. When we talk in the Christian space, you hear people talk about familiar spirits. It's because it's spirits that have known you or that have been a part of you from an early stage of your life. However, just because the brain has been wired into something that is familiar, it does not mean that that is always who you are going to be. Because you'll find that there are people that when they are offered peace in a relationship, you'll hear certain people say, I don't like this, it's too boring, or it's plain. It's because it lacks the adrenaline rush, lacks the uncertainty, the abuse, the fight, the desire to perform. When it lacks all of those things that you have understood as love in your head, it looks boring, it looks peaceful. So what is the truth begins to scare you away. So you're scared of that which is beautiful, but that which is healthy, and you want that which you know is a pattern you are used to, that you're familiar with. And one thing that I believe is that a failure to receive love that feels undeserved, or failure to receive love that is healthy, is proportionate to your understanding of God and your understanding of his love for you and of what it means to rest in his arms and rest in his love. Like I said, we're going back to 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4, and it says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith. It's always hopeful and endures through every circumstance. I believe that this is a definition of love. When we talk about God, one of the things that you will know from the scriptures, it says God is love. So what does it mean? God is all of those things that are in First Corinthians 18. God is patient. There's so many ways God has been patient with us. You know, if you're somebody who has experienced a lot of things, like in the area of sin, you know how God has been patient with you in your sin, in your mistakes. He has remained patient, and He has remained with a desire that you are my child, you know, and I will fight for you until you are fully in the kingdom of light, right? And that shows the patience available in God, a love that is patient. There are people that get angry easily, and they begin to shout and they begin to say all of those things that they don't mean. That is not genuine love, because scripture is sharing that you need to understand that love is patient. And so when love is patient, it means that somebody does not have to shout at you just because you didn't get something the first time or you didn't get it right the second time. They're still supposed to know how to speak to you and correct you with kindness, because that is God. God is kind. In First Kings, where Elijah speaks about the wind came and the voice of God was not in it. The fire came and the voice of God was not in it, but it was in the still small voice. That is genuine kindness, the calmness of God, the genuine love of God. And this is how love has to be modeled to you. It must be modeled with calmness. It must be modeled with kindness. You know, just because you did something someone does not like, there's not warranty for that person to speak to you in a condescending manner. It does not mean that that person has to speak to you in a way that demeans you or demeans your entire self-worth. Whenever somebody begins to speak to you in a way that lowers your self-worth and your self-esteem, that means that is not genuine love, because God's love does not destroy you. It convicts you. And after convicting you, it leads you into the fullness of that love. As we redefine love, you understand it from a place of patience, kindness, and just genuine calmness. It's important that you have that gentleness. You can be an extrovert and still be gentle, calm, patient, and kind. Just because somebody has a different personality from you, it does not mean that it has to change their character that is rooted in the truth of God. The truth of God is the truth of God. It has to be how our lives are defined. Just because you know how to speak loudly, it does not mean that in your loudness, you have to destroy the nature of another person, or you have to speak in ways that cause another person to question their entire self-worth. And then it also says love is not jealous, love is not boastful, love is not proud. This is so important. I think for jealousy, we're going to speak about it in an entire different episode. But one thing that I can just say is that genuine love is not jealous of the nature of who you are. So there are women or people that complain that I get in a relationship with someone and they are intimidated by me, or they try to crash down every good thing about you so that they feel better about themselves. It's not anything wrong with you. It's how that person has their own insecurities that need healing. And when you have rooted yourself in redefining love, you understand that those characteristics of someone trying to crush you in the areas of what you're good at, that's not love. It's not something that, oh, they just said I should stop working because of all of these things. There are many reasons women stop working in marriage and family, and I don't want to crush some of those reasons. But what I'm saying is, when you have to stop because that person wants to feel better about themselves, or you have to stop so that it can enhance their ego, or you have to stop because they are making all of these excuses, but you know deep down they're about to destroy the very good thing that you know is the very thing that attracted them to you, but they want to take it away from you because of the insecurities of that person. Redefining love is saying that if somebody is intimidated and they cannot support me, they cannot be joyful about something. This can apply even in our friendships. They cannot be joyful about something even when they are struggling in a certain area. It is important to know that this does not look like love, because love is not proud. Just because you are prospering in a certain way in your life, it does not mean that you speak in a way that you are better than all the other people, you're better than your friend, or you're better than your spouse. That is, again, insecurities in the heart of that person because they always want to be viewed as the best. So whenever they get something that is a beautiful moment, all they want is for their friend or spouse to feel lesser. And then the last thing, it also says that love is not irritable and it does not count the number of wrongs. This is to understand that people should be forgiving. If that person is not forgiving, that is not genuine love because you will always do something that would tick somebody off in life. Whether it's your friend, it's your parent, it's your sibling, you will always do something that will tick them off. And the only thing that will keep that relationship going is the deeper the love relationship they have with you. And this is just evident of God's love for us because God, no matter how many times we sin, we can go back and we can say, God, forgive me. I'm not saying that's a leeway for you to go and sin because God can forgive you. All I'm saying is that even in all of our mistakes, no matter how many mistakes we make, God does not count wrongs. If God says, as I am, so should you be in the world, it means that you too, for you to show love to another person, it's the level to which you can also forgive them because each person would do or say things that will break your heart. It's important to understand that every human being will fail you. You have to understand that love must be from a place of having to be forgiving, right? If you grow up in a place where forgiveness, you had to work for it. Again, that's another traumatic experience because in as much as you're supposed to genuinely ask for forgiveness for another person, it's not also from a place of you have to keep working and working and working for that person to forgive you. Our hearts must be soft soil in such a way that we can be able to call out that love within in order for us to show that love to another person by our forgiveness. Love sees and love is safe. When you're seen in the nature of who you are, people just love you for who you are. You don't have to do things to be loved. You don't have to be to be successful to be loved. I'm not saying don't be successful. I'm not saying don't do things for your loved ones that you know make them feel loved. But what I'm saying is it does not have to be from a place of performance. Love has to be safe. It does not have to feel like, oh, today I don't know if we're in love. Tomorrow I don't understand. Oh, tomorrow we are in love. It has to be safe. It has to be consistent. It has to feel comfortable. You know, there's a dream that I had when I woke up. It was like a calm nature. It was gentle. It was peaceful. And the Lord was like highlighting to me that this is what my love feels like. And any person who comes into your life, they should carry that fragrance in them. And that is so powerful because love has to be safe enough for you to be yourself, safe enough to share grievances without feeling like if I confront something, then this love changes. Love is not supposed to change because you confronted an area. It is made stronger by your ability to confront that area because it's a way to cultivate it to grow. You cannot cultivate love if you are not learning about the things that make another person feel inferior or things that make another person feel hurt. So learning another person, being a student of their heart, what they are going through, student of the nature of who you are, in order for you to walk with them in a way that does not hurt them and that does not get you hurt at the same time. And so confrontation must not warrant a change of how love should be given. It should actually increase how love should be given because once an area is confronted, there's healing, there's a change in the relationship, which brings it together in a healthy space. Love. And another thing is that love is correcting. When somebody corrects you, it's not that they hate you. I shared recently on Instagram that there was a time in my life where I hated correction. People would give me corrections and I would start getting moody. I would make people walk on eggshells around me because I'm so mad. But one of the things that I learned is that true and real and sustained and healthy love is also rooted in your ability to be corrected. You should be someone people can correct. You can't have relationships with people. You can't even have a strong walk with God if you cannot be corrected because you will not always get things right. When you understand love from the way God gives it, then it helps you to also understand how to love self. It's okay for you to share, I don't like this and I don't want to do this. All of those things. It's okay for you to say no. It's okay for you to set the boundaries. That helps love to be healthy because people are not overstepping, coming into your space in the way that you don't like. It's important that you share your boundaries. I also believe that the way that you rest in the love of God is your understanding of his love for you. When you understand how he loves, it helps you to rest in his love. And when you rest in his love, it helps you to recognize the people that align with the kind of love God calls us higher up to become. It helps you to have love for yourself because you cannot have love for yourself if you don't know how God loves you. When you have love for yourself, now you know how to speak to yourself. You don't say things that break your self-esteem. So when you understand that, it also comes to the place where you say, I don't abandon myself. Just because I have to love other people does not mean I have to abandon myself, or I just need to be someone who knows how to honor my needs. I have to be someone who knows how to seek for the things that I want. It's okay for you to have things that you want in a relationship. It should feel healthy. It should feel safe. And that's how you redefine love. You first redefine it by your understanding of who God is, his nature of his love to you. When you rest in that, it helps you to also breathe self-love to you. When you build self-love, then you can be able to bring in other people and you're looking, can they portray love the same way God portrays love to me? Because when you do that, that is wellness, that is freedom. True freedom and true wellness comes centered from a place of understanding love in a way that is healthy, in a way that is life-giving. So here are some gentle questions that you can ask yourself. What definition of love did I learn? What definition of love did I learn from childhood? How was love modeled to me? And how do I love now? How do I show up in love as a person? Do I still portray traumatic experiences? You may even portray those traumatic experiences even in marriage and you don't even know it. It's important for you to take time to understand how you love and why you love that way. What does your body associate with love? Does it associate it with peace or does it associate it with fear or uncertainty? All of those things you need to know because if it's fear and uncertainty, that means there's a need for healing because when you heal, you grow. And from the place of growth, that is the only place you can impact the world. You cannot go and decide to do great things in the world for God if you have not dealt with your own house. If your own house is in disorder, you need to fix your house before you can impact the world. Then you also need to understand how is God reteaching you what love is. Healing your understanding of love is not a betrayal of your past. It is just a way to honor your future, the future that you desire. God is not just going to be healing the way that you understand love, but God is also going to be helping you to build capacity to receive love. You cannot receive healthy love if your understanding of love is from a place of trauma. You can only receive love at the level to which you love yourself. And this comes from you knowing how to rest in God's love for you. When you rest in God's love for you and you understand what it means, it builds self-love. After it builds self-love, it helps you to receive love from people that carry that nature of God. You must learn how to receive love because God wants you to be loved. I hope that you learned. You just share with me in the comments how that transformed you, how that changed you, because I believe that the moment I found God's love for me, I stopped performing. I stopped trying to do a lot of things for people to choose me or for people to love me, because God's love for me does not require for me to perform. God's love for me is genuinely given to me just because I am. I'm not saying this that you will not do things for people that you love, but you will not do it from a place of this is the only way they can love me. It's a way to appreciate than it is a way to seek out affection. So can't wait to see you in the next episode and next week. Thank you for watching, for listening, and bye.